Welcome to Daily Newscast, Episode 9, August 5th, 2025. Welcome, curious minds. Today, we're embarking on a really fascinating deep dive. We're looking into 6 pivotal stories that are genuinely shaping our world right now. Our mission, well, it's what we always try to do, sift through all the noise, pull out those really critical bits of knowledge, and hopefully leave you feeling, truly well-informed, but without that feeling of being overwhelmed.
That's exactly right. And we've put together a really diverse set of topics for you today. It's quite a range. We'll be looking at everything from a groundbreaking new AI model from Alibaba that's really setting new benchmarks for image generation to the, frankly, inspiring story of a 16-year-old athlete who's just shattering records and, completely redefining what we thought was possible in track and field.
And the journey doesn't stop there. We'll also plunge into a brand new scientific study. This one proposes a, pretty revolutionary idea about life beyond Earth. And then we'll shift gears completely, jump into the financial world. News Corp's latest results are sparking a really fiery debate about AI and copyright. That's a big one.
Plus, we've got some uplifting news from New York City. Major museum reopenings are really revitalizing the city's cultural scene. It's great to see. And, for a bit of pop culture, we've got the latest nominations for the MTV Video Music Awards. They're setting the stage for one of entertainment's biggest nights.
Absolutely. And remember, you can easily take this deep dive with you. Listen while you're cooking, maybe out for a walk, catching up on work, or even, during your exercise routine. And if you ever feel the pace is a bit quick, or maybe you just want to mull over a particular detail, feel free to adjust your playback speed down to 0.75x. Our goal is really for you to absorb every important detail comfortably, ensuring you walk away feeling truly informed and engaged. Okay, let's kick things off. We're diving straight into the cutting edge of technology. There's a new player making some serious waves here. We're talking about Alibaba Cloud's Qwen team. They've just unleashed something called Qwen Image. And look, this isn't just another AI model popping up. It seems to be a really powerful open source tool for image generation, editing too, and it brings some genuinely unique capabilities to the table.
Indeed. Qwen Image, it's built on a pretty sophisticated architecture. It's called a multimodal diffusion transformer. Now, for those who follow the AI space closely, that basically means it's designed to understand and generate content across different types of information, in this case, text and images, in a highly integrated way.
Yeah.
And the training data, it's huge, over 1 billion text-image pairs. That scale is absolutely crucial for the kind of performance it's showing, and it's, deep understanding of visual and linguistic concepts.
Right, and here's where it gets, I think, particularly interesting for creators, designers, anyone working with visuals, really. Qwen Image apparently has this groundbreaking ability to handle text within images. That's something that historically has been a massive hurdle for a lot of AI image generators, hasn't it?
Well, absolutely. A huge bottleneck. They might create these stunning visuals, beautiful pictures, but then they often stumble when it comes to putting in legible or contextually accurate text. It often looks garbled or just wrong.
Yeah, what truly sets Qwen Image apart from what we're seeing is its exceptional skill in rendering complex multilingual text, especially Chinese, which, as you know, is notoriously difficult for AI because of the intricate characters, the stroke order, all of that. It can generate high-fidelity Chinese and English text. We're talking multi-line layouts, even full paragraph-level text. That's almost unheard of in this space. Imagine asking an AI for an image with, say, a detailed newspaper headline, and it actually gets it right. It can even handle nuance, like calligraphy effects. For instance, they've shown examples where the model accurately depicts complex shop signs in a sort of Studio Ghibli style, or generates intricate Chinese couplets with remarkable precision. It shows a deep grasp of both the visual look and the meaning of the language.
That's really impressive. And it's not just about generating text on images, is it? It sounds like the editing capabilities are also quite advanced.
Exactly. Beyond just rendering words, Qwen Image offers incredibly sophisticated image editing tools. And this isn't just, basic cropping or filters. We're talking complex stuff, like style transfer. You could feed it a photo and say, change the painting to Van Gogh's style, and it apparently integrates that artistic flair pretty seamlessly. It also handles object addition or removal with quite impressive realism. Detail enhancement, too. And even human pose manipulation.
Wow. So you could tell it to add a sunny sky to a gloomy landscape photo, or maybe adjust how someone's standing.
That's the idea. And it aims to do all that while keeping the overall image looking visually consistent and realistic, which is, the tricky part.
So powerful capabilities, but what about actually using it? You mentioned open source.
Yes, and this is what's truly disruptive, I think, for the AI community. Its accessibility. Alibaba has released Qwen Image under the Apache 2.0 license. That means it allows for completely unrestricted commercial use.
Okay, that's huge. No hefty licensing fees.
Exactly. It opens up this powerful tech to a massive audience.
Mm.
But the real practical innovation for accessibility, it's the hardware it needs. Unlike so many state-of-the-art AI models that need these huge, expensive computing clusters, Qwen Image has been engineered to run on consumer-grade hardware. Specifically, a single NVIDIA 3090 GPU.
A single 3090, that's remarkable. I mean, a 3090 is powerful, no doubt, but it's still something a serious individual developer or maybe a small studio might actually own, not something requiring a whole data center. How do they manage that?
Well, it comes down to some clever technical tricks, things like defloat 11 quantization and CPU offloading.
Okay, break that down a bit.
Sure. So defloat 11 quantization, basically it's a technique to significantly cut down the model's memory needs and how much computation it takes. It uses a more compact way to store the numbers inside the model. Crucially, it does this without sacrificing too much quality or accuracy. Think of it like compressing a huge file without losing the important information.
Okay, makes sense. And CPU offloading.
That just means your computer's main brain, the CPU, can help out the graphics card, the GPU, by taking on some of the workload. It makes the whole process more efficient, especially on hardware that isn't, top-of-the-line specialized AI hardware. So that combination really lowers the barrier to entry. Individual developers, smaller organizations, they can tap into this power without needing a supercomputer.
And it's not like you're sacrificing performance for that accessibility, right? The benchmarks sound impressive.
They really are. It seems Qwen Image is consistently outperforming many competitors on major benchmarks, right across the board. For just general image generation, it's leading on platforms like Genevol, DPG, 1IG Bunch. And for image editing tasks, it's getting top scores on benchmarks like GEDIT, MGEDIT, GSO. It even holds the highest rating for an open source model on Image Arena. Its ELO score is above 1100. That's a pretty significant indicator of quality within the, competitive AI community.
So how does it stack up against the big commercial names we hear about, like Daily 3 or Stable Diffusion?
Well, it positions itself very strongly. It seems to directly compete with, and in some areas, maybe even surpass commercial models like OpenAI's DALL-E 3. DALL-E 3 is fantastic for creative generation, obviously, but as we discussed, it often struggles with complex text layouts, particularly non-English scripts like Chinese. Qwen Image seems to handle that much better. And compared to something like Stable Diffusion, which is incredibly popular and versatile, Qwen Image appears to offer a deeper visual comprehension, a more nuanced understanding of visual language in its context.
So this puts Alibaba in a really interesting spot, doesn't it? Not just technologically, but strategically.
Absolutely. This is a powerful strategic move.
But isn't there a potential downside? By open sourcing such an advanced model, aren't they essentially giving away their competitive advantage? Allowing others to maybe catch up faster, especially with how quickly AI moves?
That's a really valid point, and it definitely touches on the bigger geopolitical and market dynamics here. Alibaba's decision, it probably isn't just about technical generosity. It's widely being seen as a pretty shrewd geopolitical play. By making this powerful AI freely available, Alibaba is very publicly showing off its tech leadership. It's building goodwill within the global developer community.
Especially important now, maybe, with all the talk about tightening export controls and tech transfer restrictions around AI.
Exactly. This allows them to share innovation, build a global ecosystem around their tech in a different way internationally. It could cement their influence, even if direct hardware or software exports face hurdles. It's a kind of a soft power move in the tech world.
Right, shaping the landscape by making the tools accessible. I'm thinking about market disruption.
Well, Qwen Image could significantly speed up AI adoption, especially in places or sectors where access to those high-end proprietary models might be limited by cost or, resources. Offering a powerful, free, and accessible tool like this, it could definitely put pressure on the margins of premium AI service providers who charge for similar stuff.
Squeeze them a bit.
Potentially. And it also positions it to disrupt the traditional creative software markets, doesn't it? As these advanced AI tools become more democratic, easier to integrate into design workflows, the value proposition for traditional software might have to shift.
How so?
Well, instead of just selling basic creative functions, they might need to focus more on integration, specialized features, building unique ecosystems around these powerful open-source models like Qwen Image.
Interesting. And for investors, what does this signal?
It signals a shift. Hardware providers, cloud infrastructure folks, especially those serving that mid-tier GPU market, could see more demand. because Quenimage proves powerful AI doesn't always need the absolute most expensive hardware. Investors might need to look at AI companies differently now, maybe focus less on just raw model performance and more on how well those models get embedded into real-world solutions, how they navigate this open-source landscape.
So the value shifts from the core model to the application.
Possibly.
Mm.
Or at least how effectively companies can build services on top of these open-source foundations.
So yeah, Quinimage really does make advanced AI visual creation feel much more accessible. It could transform everything from marketing, graphic design, even creating educational content. It means more people can tap into these incredibly powerful tools, which is, a form of democratizing access to AI. And it absolutely shifts the landscape of AI competition globally. It forces other players to rethink their strategies on open source, how they engage with the wider community. It feels like a significant marker of where AI tech is headed. Okay, that Alibaba AI story really shows how fast tech boundaries are being pushed. But let's shift our focus dramatically now from cutting edge tech to, well, the sheer power of human potential, especially when it emerges unexpectedly. Let's dive into this absolutely groundbreaking story from the world of sports. We're talking about Cooper Lutkenhaus, a name that is, well, suddenly everywhere in athletic circles.
Yeah, the story of Cooper Lutkenhaus is nothing short of astounding, really. He's 16 years old, a high school athlete from Texas, and he just completely stunned the athletics world. Finished second in the 800-meter final at the United States Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon.
And we need to stress this isn't just some local high school meet, right? This is the USATF Championships, one of the highest levels of competition in the entire country.
Exactly, a stage where seasoned professionals train for years and years just to compete,
Yeah.
and he comes in second.
And his time, just phenomenal. He clocked 1 minute, 42.27 seconds.
Which, to put that in perspective, was just, what, 0.11 seconds, a hair's breadth behind the winner, Donovan Brazier. And Brazier is a former 800-meter world champion.
Right. The difference was tiny. Imagine being 16 and being that close to an elite world champion. It's mind-blowing.
And what's truly remarkable, I think, is who he beat. Lutkenhaus didn't just compete alongside pros, he actually beat several very established professionals in that final, including Bryce Hoppel, who won the World Indoor 800 title just last year. Hoppel is 27, an experienced athlete, and he finished third behind the 16-year-old with a time of 1.42.49.
A 16-year-old outrunning established champions on that kind of national stage, it really does speak volumes about his raw talent, but also his composure under pressure.
Absolutely. And this incredible run, it wasn't just about placing well. His time of 1.42.27, it absolutely crushed the under-18 world record.
Crushed it? By how much?
By a staggering 1.1 seconds. The previous record was 1.43.37, set back in 2011 by Mohammed Aman of Ethiopia. This is now officially the fastest time ever recorded by a male athlete under 18 anywhere in the world. It's a huge leap forward.
Just incredible. And the implications go beyond just records, right? He's qualified for the World Championships.
He has. He's now set to become the youngest male ever to represent the United States at the World Athletics Championships, which are in Tokyo this September. He's going to shatter the previous record for the youngest United States man that was held by Ariane Knighton, who was 18 years, 5 months old back in 2022.
So he breaks the male record.
But wait, there's more. He won't just break the male record, he'll also break the record for the youngest American overall to compete at the Worlds. That record belonged to Mary Kane, who was 17 years, 3 months old in 2013.
Wow. So he's really rewriting the history books here. It places him in this unique, almost mythical spot in American track history already.
It really does. And think about the historical context more broadly. His time. That 1.42.27, it's the fourth fastest men's 800-meter performance in United States history by anyone, ever.
Fourth fastest ever by an American, regardless of age.
Exactly. Think about all the legendary runners over the decades. And right
Yeah.
now, it's the fifth fastest time clocked anywhere in the world this year.
And didn't he also break his personal best by a huge margin in that same race?
He did. Under all that pressure, in the championship final, he broke his own personal record by 3 whole seconds.
3 seconds?
Yeah.
At that level, that kind of improvement in a single race is just extraordinary. It suggests this incredible capacity to perform when it matters most.
It really does. It shows not just the physical ability, but a phenomenal mental game. Which kind of brings us to his strategy, how he ran the race. Lutkenhaus actually shared some really interesting insights afterwards. He said that in the final 100 meters, the stadium just exploded with noise. And he consciously tried to, quote, derive as much energy as possible from the crowd.
That's fascinating. Most athletes talk about blocking out distractions, but he was actively trying to harness that energy at 16 in that moment.
Yeah, it shows incredible awareness and maybe a different kind of mental focus.
And then there was his comment about middle school tactics. I loved that. What did he mean? It sounds almost counterintuitive for such a high-stakes race.
It does sound funny, doesn't it? He revealed he went back to what he called middle school tactics. And what that meant, apparently, was just pushing really hard from the 200-meter mark onwards, just going for it.
So less complex pacing strategy, more raw push.
Seems like it. In a race probably filled with intricate strategies by the pros, he relied on this fundamental aggressive push he learned years ago. And clearly it worked. Remember, he was actually back in 7th place after the first lap, so he had a lot of ground to make up in that second half.
7th to 2nd in the final stretch.
Exactly. To surge like that in the final 100 meters shows amazing courage, obviously raw speed, but maybe also a kind of purity of intention, like he wasn't overthinking it. It's almost like saying sometimes the best strategy is just a really intuitive, aggressive one.
This whole performance definitely raises big questions about the future of the sport, doesn't it? Are we seeing a generational shift in middle distance running, or is he just this incredible outlier?
The reactions from other top athletes certainly suggest something significant is happening. Bryce Hoppel, the American record holder he beat for second place, called it one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
That's huge praise coming from someone at his level.
Absolutely. And analysts are already making comparisons. They're likening his sudden rise to iconic young athletes in other sports.
Hmm.
Think early LeBron James, maybe Tiger Woods. They're calling it one of the greatest feats ever by a high school athlete. One coach even used the phrase, passing the baton off to the right person, which is such a powerful metaphor for the impact he's already having. It hints at a new era.
So connecting this to the bigger picture, it sparked these widespread discussions. Is a new generation of talent really challenging the seasoned veterans in American middle distance running?
It looks that way. It feels like more than just an individual achievement. It could be a potential turning point for the sport in the United States, a sign of a wave of incredibly gifted young athletes coming through.
Of course, it also makes you wonder about the pressures on him now. He's so young. How will his career evolve?
That's the next chapter, isn't it? The focus will definitely shift to his development. How will his body handle professional training loads, the increased competition, the intense spotlight? It's always a delicate balance, nurturing that kind of talent without causing burnout.
True. But his story right now, it's just this powerful reminder that age really isn't always a barrier to achieving greatness, even on the world's biggest stages.
Exactly. It's a testament to individual determination and, yeah, maybe even a little bit of those middle school tactics, completely reshaping expectations.
It really inspires you to reconsider your own perceived limits, doesn't it? Just an amazing story. Okay, from the track to the cosmos. Cooper Lutkenhaus stretched our understanding of human potential. But what if the potential for life itself exists in places we previously thought were completely impossible, far beyond Earth? Let's now expand our imaginations and dive into this really groundbreaking cosmic ray discovery. It's challenging some fundamental assumptions about where life could exist in the universe.
This really could be a paradigm shift for astrobiology. There's new research, this time from New York University, Abu Dhabi, and it suggests that cosmic rays, these high-energy particles zipping through space from distant events, could actually generate enough energy to support microbial life. And not just anywhere, but under the surfaces of planets and moons, right here in our own solar system. It kind of turns our usual thinking about habitable zones upside down.
Right, because usually when scientists talk about searching for extraterrestrial life, the focus is heavily on the Goldilocks zone, isn't it?
Exactly, that region around a star where conditions are supposedly just right. Not too hot, not too cold, so liquid water could exist on a planet's surface. And there's sunlight, which we assume is needed for energy, like here on Earth.
Earth is the prime example, obviously.
Right. But this new study proposes a whole new area to look. They're calling it the radiolytic habitable zone.
Radiolytic. Okay, what's the process involved here?
It's fascinating. It centers on a process called radiolysis. So cosmic rays, as we said, are these super high energy particles and atomic nuclei. They come from things like exploding stars, supernovas, maybe black holes accelerating particles. Here on Earth, we're mostly shielded from them by our thick atmosphere and our magnetic field, which is good because normally they're considered harmful. Their energy can damage DNA, disrupt cells.
But this new theory kind of flips that idea.
It does. On worlds that have much thinner atmospheres or maybe no atmosphere at all, these cosmic rays can penetrate right down to the surface and crucially even travel below the surface. Once they're under the surface, they can interact with water or ice molecules that might be present there. And this interaction is key. The cosmic rays essentially blast these water molecules apart. That's the radiolysis part. And when they do that, the process releases electrons. Think of electrons as tiny packets of energy.
Okay, so cosmic rays break water, release energy in the form of electrons. How does that potentially support life?
Well, this is the really exciting part for astrobiology. Those released electrons could, theoretically, generate enough energy to actually support microbial metabolism,
Right.
maybe even kickstart it. And this isn't just pure speculation. We see similar mechanisms right here on Earth.
Yeah.
Think about bacteria living deep underground or near hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor where there's no sunlight. They don't use photosynthesis. Instead, they often rely on chemical reactions, chemosynthesis, using minerals and water. These reactions frequently involve electron transfer to get energy.
I see. So the idea is that life could potentially thrive in similar dark, cold, subsurface environments on other worlds, but powered by cosmic rays instead of sunlight or local chemical reactions.
Exactly. A completely different energy source for life.
Hmm.
It opens up possibilities in places we might have previously written off as totally barren.
So where in our solar system might this actually be happening? Did the study look at specific candidates?
It did. They didn't just propose the theory. They ran simulations for specific locations known or suspected to have subsurface water and relatively thin atmospheres.
Ah,
The main candidates they investigated were Mars, which we know has significant subsurface ice.
right.
Jupiter's moon Europa, famous for its huge subsurface ocean beneath a thick icy shell,
Uh-huh.
and Saturn's moon Enceladus, which is really exciting because it actively vents plumes of water vapor from its own hidden ocean.
So all three have water or ice hidden away beneath the surface.
Precisely, away from the harsh surface conditions, but potentially accessible to
Right.
these penetrating cosmic rays.
And did the simulations suggest one was more promising than the others?
They did. The results suggested that among those three, Enceladus actually offers the highest potential for this kind of life-supporting chemistry.
Enceladus. Why there?
It's likely due to a combination of factors. Maybe its interaction with Saturn's strong magnetic field, plus we know it has an active interior because of those geysers. It suggests a dynamic environment where these processes could be happening. Mars came in second in terms of potential, according to their models, and then Europa.
So this could help prioritize where we look next with future missions, focus more on places like Enceladus.
It could definitely influence target selection, giving scientists new targets beyond just the traditional Goldilocks planets.
This research really does feel like it could fundamentally alter how we search for life beyond Earth.
I think so.
Yeah.
Dimitra Atri, an astrophysicist who co-authored the study, put it really well. She said, life might be able to survive in more places than we ever imagined.
Okay.
That's the core of the paradigm shift. Instead of only looking for warm planets with sunlight, we can now seriously consider places that are cold and dark, as long as they have some water beneath the surface and are exposed to cosmic rays. It forces us to rethink what habitable even means.
It really does. So if this theory holds up, our search for extraterrestrial life wouldn't be limited just to those Goldilocks conditions anymore.
Potentially not. It could reshape future space missions significantly. Instead of focusing solely on finding biosignatures on the surface, like signs of photosynthesis or certain atmospheric gases, scientists might be much more motivated to investigate deep underground environments.
Looking for signs of life powered by this cosmic ray chemistry instead.
Exactly. It opens up a whole new frontier for astrobiology. Suddenly, there are many more potential cosmic addresses where life could be flourishing, hidden from view.
It's incredible. This discovery really challenges our basic assumptions about where life can take hold. It makes the universe feel even more vast, more filled with possibilities. It prompts you to think about the sheer adaptability of life itself. Maybe the cosmos is teeming with microbial life in places we dismissed as impossible, just hidden beneath the surface using cosmic radiation as their lifeblood.
It's a mind-bending thought, isn't it? Nature often finds a way, even in the most extreme conditions we can imagine.
Truly fascinating. Okay, let's bring our focus back down to Earth now. From the deep mysteries of potential cosmic life to the, well, often equally complex intersection of finance, media, and technology. We're turning our attention to News Corporation. They're a major global media and information services company, and they've recently reported their financial results for the fiscal year 2025. There are some really interesting takeaways here, especially when you view them through the lens of all the ongoing discussions about artificial intelligence and content ownership.
Indeed. News Corporation reported pretty strong financial results overall for fiscal 2025. Their full-year revenue saw a 2% increase, climbing to $8.45 billion, which is up from $8.25 billion the previous year. But what's even more striking is the profit figures. Net income from their continuing operations saw a huge 71% jump. It reached $648 million, way up from $399 million in the prior year.
A 71% increase in net income, that's substantial.
It is. And another key metric, their total segment EBITDA, which is basically a measure of operational profitability before things like interest and taxes that also improved significantly, up 14% to a record $1.42 billion. So it signals a very healthy core business performance across many of their divisions.
So where did that growth mainly come from? Which parts of the business were the real engines driving this success?
Well, a major contributor was their digital real estate services segment, specifically REA Group. That's their majority-owned property listings business down in Australia. REA Group posted record revenues of $1.25 billion, a solid 12% increase. That was largely fueled by a strong Australian residential property market where demand and prices stayed pretty robust. It really highlights the value of their digital platforms in that crucial sector.
Okay, real estate did well. What else?
Another key growth driver was Dow Jones. They also achieved record revenues, hitting $2.33 billion for the full year. This was really underpinned by significant growth in their professional information business, the B2B side. For instance, their Risk and Compliance division, which provides essential data and tools for businesses needing regulatory compliance, saw a strong 15% increase. And Dow Jones Energy, which focuses on insights for the energy sector, was up 11%. Digital circulation revenues also played a big part. The Wall Street Journal alone now has over 4.3 million total average subscriptions.
4.3 million for the Journal. That shows there's still real value placed on high-quality, trusted journalism even, or maybe especially in the digital age.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And their book publishing segment, which includes HarperCollins, also chipped in positively. Revenues there increased by 3% to $2.15 billion. That was supported by higher digital book sales, so good adaptation to ebooks and audiobooks, and also strong performance from their backlist. Older, evergreen titles that keep selling year after year, that provides a nice, steady revenue stream. This diversified portfolio clearly gave them resilience.
But it wasn't all growth, was it? The traditional news media segment faced some headwinds.
That's right. That segment, which includes major newspapers like The Sun, The Times in the UK, The New York Post, and others, separate from Dow Jones, actually saw a 4% decline in revenues. It dropped to $2.17 billion.
And why was that?
Primarily impacted by lower advertising revenues, especially print advertising, and also lower circulation revenues for the physical papers. They give an example. The Sun newspaper saw its global monthly unique users online decrease significantly, from about 126 million down to 74 million.
Wow, that's a big drop.
It is. And they partly attributed this to algorithm changes on various big digital platforms, think social media, search engines. Those changes reduce the traffic being sent to news sites. It really highlights the ongoing challenge traditional news outlets face in this digital landscape, where these huge platforms effectively control who sees their content.
Yeah, that reliance on platform algorithms is a major vulnerability. And this brings us to, well, probably the most talked about aspect of News Corp's results call, the CEO's comments on AI.
Yes, CEO Robert Thomson. He definitely didn't mince words when it came to criticizing artificial intelligence and its impact on intellectual property.
His comments were quite sharp, weren't they? He strongly criticized AI for, as he put it, profiting from intellectual property without proper compensation.
He stated, and this is a direct quote, "The AI age must cherish the value of intellectual property if we are collectively to realize our potential." That really sums up their core argument. AI development needs to respect the creative work it learns from.
He went further, too, didn't he? Using some pretty strong language.
He did. He argued that undermining IP rights by, quote, stripping away them is equivalent to vandalizing our virtuosity. He called the way AI engines consume content to then profit from the ideas within it cannibalizing concepts. He labeled that blatant theft.
Blatant theft. That's framing it not just as a business issue, but as a moral and ethical violation.
Exactly. It highlights this fundamental clash between the sort of move fast and break things, often open source ethos driving some AI development, and the traditional value systems of industries built on creating and owning content.
And he used a very pointed example to illustrate this involving the U.S. president.
Yes, he did. He specifically mentioned the books written by the President of the United States, noting they are being consumed by AI engines for training data. He argued this directly undermines future sales of those books, suggesting that a title like The Art of the Deal has, in the context of AI training, effectively become the art of the steal.
The art of the steal. That's a powerful, memorable line. It makes the abstract issue of IP and AI training feel much more concrete, and it resonates beyond just the media world.
It certainly illustrates the core concern that these AI models are learning from vast amounts of copyrighted material without giving any value back to the creators or the rights holders, and that this could ultimately devalue original content and erode the whole economic model that supports creating it in the first place.
So beyond the strong words, how is News Corp actually adapting to these challenges? What are their strategic responses?
Well, one concrete action they announced is a new $1 billion stock repurchase program. That's on top of an existing program. On one hand, this move emphasizes the company's financial strength and its commitment to returning capital to shareholders. It signals confidence despite the industry headwinds.
But maybe also acknowledges the uncertain future of content monetization, a way to reward shareholders now.
That's certainly one interpretation. They're also implementing strategic adaptations operationally. To counter things like those algorithm changes hitting ad revenue, News Corp says it's focusing on building deeper engagement directly with its readers and leveraging first-party data strategies. So, gathering information directly from their own audience to understand them better, serve them better, rather than relying solely on third-party platforms that control access.
Makes sense. Are they using AI themselves at all?
Yes, they mentioned they are exploring how AI itself can be used constructively within their own operations, things like enhancing the user experience on their sites, or maybe facilitating content syndication more efficiently. So it seems like a balancing act, fighting against what they see as AI's misuse and potential theft of their IP, while also strategically looking at how to harness AI's potential benefits for their own business.
Right. This whole story really throws that growing tension between rapid AI innovation and the critical issue of intellectual property rights into sharp relief, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And it's a debate that affects everyone, not just huge media conglomerates like News Corp, but individual creators, artists, writers, businesses of all sizes, even the political sphere, as policymakers grapple with regulation.
Understanding News Corp's financial performance and their very vocal stance gives us a clear window into the shifting media landscape. It shows how companies are fighting to protect their valuable content in this rapidly evolving digital age.
And the outcome of these fights through negotiation, litigation, regulation will truly shape the future of all creative industries. It's something we'll be watching closely.
Okay, from those complex battles over digital content in boardrooms and courtrooms, let's shift our focus to physical spaces. Spaces being revitalized specifically for cultural connection and artistic expression. We're turning to some genuinely uplifting news now from the world of art and culture. Several major New York institutions are finally reopening their doors after undergoing significant renovations. We're going to focus on one particularly exciting and historically important return.
That's right. We're talking about the Studio Museum in Harlem. It's set to reopen its doors to the public on November 15, 2025. This comes after a really extensive 7-year reconstruction period. So this is a huge event for the art world, particularly for the celebration and advancement of Black art and culture, which has always been right at the heart of the museum's mission since its founding.
7 years is a long time. It must be quite a transformation.
Oh, absolutely. This isn't just a minor refresh or a quick facelift. The new building is, well, it's massive, an 82,000 square foot structure. It was designed by the highly acclaimed award-winning architect Sir David Adjaye of Adjaye Associates.
Ajay, okay. Known for some really significant cultural buildings.
Exactly. And this new design offers a huge increase in space, over 70% more spatial capacity across both its indoor and outdoor areas. It provides a much larger, much more versatile platform for exhibitions, for public programming, for community engagement. Crucially, it includes an impressive 14,000 square feet of state-of-the-art exhibition space that will allow the museum to showcase even more significant works from its own growing collection and also important new acquisitions.
What are some of the other key features of the new building?
Well, there are several highlights designed to really enhance the visitor experience and support the museum's core mission. There's a stunning rooftop terrace, apparently offering incredible panoramic views across Harlem. There are flexible program spaces that can be adapted for different kinds of events, educational initiatives, performances, things like that. And significantly, there's a dedicated studio and lounge area specifically for its pioneering Artist-in-Residence program.
Oh, that's important. That program has launched so many major careers, hasn't it?
It really has. Started way back in 1968, it's been absolutely crucial in identifying and launching the careers of numerous major contemporary artists of African descent. So giving that program its own dedicated purpose-built space is hugely significant for its future impact. And one more thing, a brand new studio store will debut. It's going to feature publications, but also products specifically sourced from Black-owned businesses. So it's directly supporting Black creatives and entrepreneurs in the community and beyond.
That's great to hear. And you mentioned how the reopening connects to the museum's history.
Yes, and this is what's particularly poignant, I think, and fascinating. How the reopening ties directly back to the museum's founding mission and its very first moments. To inaugurate this magnificent new space, the museum is going to present 4 distinct exhibitions, plus 2 site-specific commissions created just for the new building, and of course highlight works drawn from its own esteemed permanent collections. It's a really comprehensive look at its past, present, and future.
And the lead exhibition.
The lead exhibition, in a really powerful nod to its origins, is a survey dedicated to the artist and activist Tom Lloyd.
Tom Lloyd. Why is that significant?
Because Tom Lloyd's work was actually the subject of the Studio Museum's very first inaugural exhibition way back in 1968 when the museum originally opened its doors on Fifth Avenue.
Wow, so it brings the institution completely full circle.
Exactly. It connects its storied past to this vibrant new future, really emphasizing its continuous commitment to the artists who have defined and continue to define Black art. Thelma Golden, the museum's director and chief curator, she reflected on this moment. She said the breathtaking new building is an invaluable space and a tribute to the museum's mission and the vitality of artists of African descent. And she added she's thrilled to welcome everyone back to a reimagined studio museum rooted in Harlem and resonating far beyond. Her words really capture that deep connection to the local community, but also its undeniable global impact on the art world.
And speaking of the community, what does this reopening mean for the people right there in Harlem? How are they making it accessible?
Well, to celebrate the grand reopening and really underscore its commitment to the neighborhood, the museum is hosting a special community day on November 15th, which is the official opening day. This event will offer completely free admission to everyone and a full day of diverse arts programming suitable for visitors of all ages. It really highlights the museum's dedication to accessibility and inclusion from day one.
That's fantastic. Making sure the reopening is a shared celebration centered on the community that's always supported it.
Precisely. And this reopening, it isn't just seen as important for Harlem, it's being talked about as a kind of cultural reset for New York City as a whole. It brings Harlem's incredibly rich legacy of creativity and artistic innovation into a brand new era, and it absolutely solidifies the Studio Museum's standing as a must-visit destination within New York City's incredibly busy and competitive art world.
So it promises to be this vibrant hub again for artists, scholars, the public, enriching the whole cultural tapestry of the city.
Definitely. It's a powerful symbol of resilience, growth, and renewal for cultural institutions, especially after such a long period of closure for reconstruction.
Yeah, this reopening isn't just about a beautiful new building, is it? It's really about celebrating Black art and culture on a bigger stage, providing vital support for Black creatives and entrepreneurs, and experiencing this vibrant community hub come back to life.
It's an open invitation for everyone to explore this transformed space, which promises to inspire, educate, and offer a really fresh and essential perspective on the dynamic world of contemporary art.
It's a great reminder of the enduring power of art to bring communities together and reflect the human experience. Something positive to look forward to. Okay, and finally today, let's wrap up our deep dive with some exciting news from the world of entertainment. Specifically, the music scene's biggest awards night, where it looks like one artist in particular is absolutely dominating this year's nominations.
That's right. We're talking about the 2025 MTV Video Music Awards, the VMAs. And Lady Gaga is leading the pack, pulling in an impressive 12 nominations. This really sets the stage for what's bound to be one of the most talked about and highly anticipated events in pop culture this year. It just showcases her continued artistic relevance and, frankly, her impact.
12 nominations, that's huge. And it includes the big ones, right? The most prestigious categories.
Oh, yeah. She's nominated in top categories like Video of the Year, Artist of the Year, and also Best Album for her recent work, Mayhem. It really speaks volumes about her sustained influence, her artistic vision, those always innovative music videos, her overall cultural impact. It continues to resonate across the industry. It really proves her staying power.
And a big part of her nominations this year comes from a collaboration, doesn't it?
Yes, and what's truly fascinating here is seeing the success of these collaborations, highlighting how artists are increasingly finding great synergy working together. Her massive hit song Die With a Smile, which she did with Bruno Mars, is a prime example. That track alone earned nominations for Video of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Pop.
Wow, that just shows their undeniable chemistry on the track and obviously the song's widespread appeal across different fan bases. It's a real testament to how creative partnerships can elevate an individual artist's reach and impact.
Definitely.
So, beyond Lady Gaga's dominance, who else is standing out in this year's VMA nominations? And are there any other sort of historical milestones potentially at stake?
Well, the competition is certainly looking fierce among the other top artists. Bruno Mars naturally follows closely behind Gaga with 11 nominations. That's for both Die With a Smile and also his work on APT with Rosé from Blackpink.
Okay, 11 for Bruno Mars.
Then Kendrick Lamar received a very strong 10 nominations, which again shows his consistent critical acclaim and commercial success. Rosé herself and Sabrina Carpenter each picked up 8 nods, indicating their growing influence in the pop landscape. And then Ariana Grande and The Weeknd each have 7 nominations. So it's a pretty dynamic and diverse field this year.
Reflects a mix of established icons and rising stars competing for those Moon Person trophies.
Exactly. And for Lady Gaga, this is actually a significant achievement personally. It marks the 3rd time in her career that she has led the VMA nominations field. She previously did it way back in 2010 when she had 13 nods, and then again in 2020 when she tied for the lead with 9 nominations. So she clearly has a strong, consistent history with these awards, often recognized for her boundary-pushing visuals and powerful artistic statements.
And you mentioned milestones. Is there anything specific about the all-time wins record?
Yes. The race for the most VMA wins ever continues to be a major storyline. Beyoncé and Taylor Swift, arguably 2 of music's biggest global superstars right now, are both nominated for Artist of the Year again. And currently, they are tied with an incredible 30 career VMA wins each.
Tied at 30 wins. So whoever takes home an award this year could break that tie.
Precisely. Whoever wins in the Artist of the Year category, or potentially any other category they might win, could edge ahead and make VMA history, further cementing their legacy in music television history. It adds this extra layer of drama and excitement to the night.
Definitely something fans will be watching closely. And are there any changes to the award categories themselves this year?
There are. This year's awards introduced 2 brand new categories, Best Country and Best Pop Artist.
Best Country and Best Pop Artist.
Interesting. Yeah, it seems to reflect the evolving landscape of popular music, acknowledging the growing influence and the cross-genre appeal of both country and pop artists right now. It also shows the VMA is trying to adapt to changing listener habits, what's big on the charts, maybe trying to be more inclusive of popular music beyond the traditional pop, rock, and hip-hop focus.
It'll be interesting to see how those new categories shape the awards going forward and maybe bring some different artists into the VMA spotlight for the first time.
Exactly. So yeah, if you're into music and pop culture, these nominations really do set the stage for one of the biggest nights in music TV. It's always a great way to catch up on who's making waves, maybe discover some new artists you want to check out, and of course see which stars end up making history in that fiercely competitive, always evolving world of music videos and artistic expression. It really is a snapshot of the year's biggest cultural moments in music.
Absolutely. Well, today we've certainly covered a lot of ground. We've explored stories that, on the surface might seem quite disparate. Everything from a 16-year-old completely redefining athletic limits to AI dramatically reshaping creativity, from astonishing new possibilities for life out there in the universe to the ongoing complex battles over intellectual property in our digital age and even the vital revitalization of our shared cultural institutions.
But, beneath it all, I think we do see a consistent thread running through these stories. It's that relentless push against perceived boundaries, whether those boundaries are human, technological, or even cosmic. When you think about Cooper Lutkenhaus pushing his physical limits way beyond what anyone thought possible for his age, or that really tantalizing possibility of life thriving in cold, dark environments in space, powered by cosmic rays, it just makes you consider the sheer potential for the unexpected, doesn't it? It makes you wonder, how might breakthroughs in technology like that new AI model from Alibaba continue to blur the lines, especially between human creativity and generated content? And maybe more importantly, what does that mean for how we as a society value original thought and intellectual property in the years ahead?
That is a huge question, a question that will undoubtedly shape our future, challenging all of us to adapt and maybe even redefine what it means to create and innovate in this new era. Thanks for listening to Daily Newscast. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this deep dive. You can expect new episodes every day, so we invite you to return tomorrow for another deep dive into the news shaping our world.